All right, so I just watched a video here, the Saline School System in Michigan. It was a Hispanic father. He was talking about racism he experienced, his children experienced when they were going to school as children, and I guess evidently now they're grown adult people. And he's like, talking about how it was. And I guess one of his kids, he went to go talk to him when the boy was, getting ready for bed, and the boy was in bed crying. And the white man behind him said, then why didn't you stay in Mexico? It's kind of like when they said go back to Africa. It's similar to that. I've said it before that Michigan is bad. Michigan is bad. Michigan may be number 2. Michigan is bad because they're sneaky. They're real sneaky, and they'll get you out of the way. They'll get you out of the way. That's the point. It isn't. Their point isn't to say you fucking nigger. No, it's to move you out of there real quickly. Deal with you and be done with you. Oh yeah, and they'll do that. Oh yeah. I was really surprised by that. They're sneaky. Yeah, Michigan is different. Michigan is very different. So anyway, what does this mean? Why are white folks, so blatant now? Why is this going on? Why are they saying these kind of things? I thought about how, for one, this is my opinion. White people have an ideology. This is their society, and so they're in control of it, and they've got to run it 24/7. They've got to be in control of it 24/7. Comments like this, at one time I didn't believe, and I'd be like, no, that can't be true. And now it's like I hear stuff like that. I don't even jump to that video no more. Like that video happened like 2 days ago, and I'm just not watching it. Yeah, and this it doesn't surprise me anymore. This is what they do. What's amazing too is even the ones that were kind of racist before, they would do it when they were out somewhere. And then they could be like, well, I didn't mean it. For you to say something like that to another parent at a PTA meeting or something like that is basically saying that you don't matter. Your opinion doesn't matter. This man, I'm sure he's a full citizen. I'm sure he's, taking care of his kids. I'm sure he got his kids on the right track. I'm sure he's got some kind of religion somewhere. I'm sure he's, doing right. And even with all that, I'm sure he's a citizen. Even with all that, the Caucasian still says, why did you stay in Mexico? See, that's why I said we're beyond the point of the melting pot in America. We're this great country with moral, no. We're beyond that, bro. That's why I say to you, voting for Biden or something like that and trying to roll things back, to me it's ridiculous. It's foolish. It's foolish to even have that kind of discussion because we are so far down the rabbit hole. We are so far down the rabbit hole now, dude. Real talk. There's no coming back in my mind. The Mexican guy, I couldn't tell if he was laughing or if he was crying. I know it hurt him. But it's another reminder of what I tell you as with the Caucasian. You can go to school. You can work hard. I was speaking yesterday about Bendover Carson and his pictures with Trump and all that. And I made the point to you that took his clothes off at night, gets in bed with his wife. Still a black man. When he walk down the street, police gonna still see him as a black man. He opens his mouth, he's still a black man. They're not listening. How many times you dealt with the cops and they keep asking you the same question? They're not listening to you. They're not, you know what I mean? Like them police you see on TV, I ain't dealt with them kind of cops. Where they're like on point and they're like, well, you said this and catch you now. Police I dealt with, they're not listening. They're really not listening to you. That's why they're asking you that stuff. They're not listening because they're not even catching it themselves. They don't care. You're a nigga. That's how they see you, and that's how they're going to treat you. Yeah, as far as using force and all that, I get it. That's got more to do with your attitude. But that's white people too. If you go up to the police acting aggressively, you can expect aggressive response. If you're speaking to them properly and you're keeping your voice calm, then I'm sure they'll listen to you. I'm sure you won't have that escalation. But like I said, stuff like this just reminds me of that, of the reality that that black and brown people face in this country, that you don't matter, and the idea that I was raised with, that we can make America a better place for all and all that kind of stuff. Oh man, Trump people are saying, listen, this is our country, and either you're going to buckle down or you're going to get ran over. And that's basically my point with this video. This guy wasn't really saying anything bad. Listen, we all have blind spots. I learned that in college. We all have blind spots. We all have things that we may not see. There's things that people have told me I didn't see. There's things that you just may not be aware of. There's nothing wrong with that. That's that process of growth and self-mastery. But sometimes you need a little help. You need a little bit of constructive criticism. Personally, I think so. I also believe if we're going to build a society worth living in, for all people to live in, a society that's just a better place for all, an inclusive society, a forward-thinking one, a progressive one. If we're doing that, we've got to have some intelligent, insightful, legitimate discourse. And telling a Mexican father that he should go back to Mexico when he's telling you about racism going on in your schools, you know what that also tells me too, though? Let me say this. It tells me what that father's priorities are. Because some white people don't care about racism. Some white folks don't care about racism. They feel like it's your fault somehow. Oh, I've seen it on the road. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen it from other blacks. Yeah, some white folks are like that. They just, whatever is going on is your fault. It's got to be your fault. Period. And that's how they look at it. Period. They don't want to hear anything else. They don't want to listen to you. It is what it is. So I just, I think it was tragic, but I think what's more tragic is the state of our country today, that these kind of comments are normalized. It's like on one hand you have the racism, on the other hand you have what you had in Charlottesville. It's like that. It's just, this country is really sick, man. It's really sick. That man has as much right to free speech as anyone else does in that room. He's got the right to speak his mind, and by him, you know what's crazy? It's what gets me is they started off killing black men, pulling guns on black men, calling police on black men, and now, after that, they started calling police on black people in college. Like the college girl in the college campus, they were sitting out eating lunch at her job in the library. They called the police on her. She was crying. There was a black girl in the lounge taking a nap. They called the police on her. I was in New York. She told the cops, like, this lady's done this before. You had quite a few of those cases where they called police on black. The first one was Starbucks. And I've heard other white folks say they've done it all the time. They've been white folks that they've went in Starbucks to have meetings and no one bought anything. I've heard that. This is racism. These guys were arrested. These guys went to jail for using the bathroom while waiting for a friend. And, their white friend was like, what's going on? Why y'all doing this? You know what got me about it is how the cops, didn't care. That's what got, as a cop, it's like they had no, Seattle is supposed to be this big progressive thing, and it's like the cops had no thought or reasoning that this might be wrong, that these men may not have to be arrested. And the friends like, what's going on? They're waiting for like it shouldn't matter. Okay? We as black people should not need white people to co-sign for every fucking thing we do. I don't need a white man to co-sign for me walking across the street or taking a piss, okay? Or going to the library or picking up my fucking dinner. I don't need a white man to co-sign for me on that. But it bothers me that even though you had a white man, they're still like, yeah, we don't care. They're going to jail. They're going to jail. I didn't realize that till later on. They were in jail for a while. They didn't just go to jail and get released in 2 hours or whatever. No, that's not what happened, bro. It's not what happened. They were charged. You know, it's just things like that. Just when they talk about like liberal policies and marijuana legalization and how people are going too far with that, things like that remind me we got a long way to go, man. We got a long way to go in this country. Long way to go. But I just want to go back. I said that Mexican, my heart goes out to him. He's got his free speech like anybody else. I was saying to you, now they're attacking other white people. They're attacking other demographics. And I said that was going to happen. I don't remember the video. I may not have done the video, but I've told people, eventually, they start going after Hispanics. I said that. I said that a while back. Ooh, getting goosebumps. I said that shit. Because white supremacy was never just about black people. White supremacy is predicated upon the Caucasian being in control. We can't have all these Mexicans speaking out. Even if it's, and you know what's crazy is they get mad about Mexicans and stuff in La Raza and Black Lives Matter and stuff. And what this video really showed me was even when you go to the PTA meeting, and he's wearing a collared shirt, I think. But I mean, he looked presentable. This was not some vato that had, you know what I mean? He looked presentable. He was a presentable guy. He's trying to see about his kids being discriminated against. And a white man tells him, you should have stayed in Mexico. It just really shows me. I did a video on this before also where I talked about why are black people joining the left-hand religions? Nation of Islam, guys and Earths, Black Hebrew Israelites. You're getting this huge surge in that. Why? Because white people are basically telling you we don't respect you. You know? That I think black people are realizing what was King fighting for again? Was King really all he really fought for was so we can marry white women and sit on the same toilet seat as a white man? Was that it? Was that the whole point? Was that the whole casus belli or whatever you call it? So, you know, if you're Caucasian and you're going to disrespect me in a school board meeting, or, you know, you're going to disrespect me at my job, calling the police on me at my job, or calling the police on me because I'm selling hot dogs or got a lemonade stand, or I'm walking on the street with my daughter in a carriage. I mean, that happened. I sent a video that happened. If that's, and the baby was, I think baby was biracial. You could tell she had a little black in there. If that's really what you're going to do as a Caucasian, then I'm going to go towards the groups that give me respect. And that may lead to violence too. Yeah. I think that, switch gears a little bit, that's why you have the La Raza. And this Hispanic fight, he might go towards that now. Because, like I said, growing up, the whole ideology was to be like a white man. That, you know, that he had this great society, and I want a part of it. And now it's like with Trump, white people are telling you have no place in our society. None. I said this before. Make America Great Again is about white supremacy and making America what it always was. And so anytime a black or brown person speaks out about wrongdoing or crimes or disrespect, they'll just say, well, why don't you go back to Africa or go back where you come from? It's that same thing. You know why? Because they don't want to fix the problem. You know what that proves? That proves they know what racism is, and they know about it, and they know it is serious, and that they don't care. This is important. This is important now. That's what that shows you. In a criminal case, you've got to prove intent. Got to prove intent. What that guy said was intent. Oh yeah. It's intent. You know, other white folks that spoke up too. They were like, you need to leave and stuff. But that's what that shit. I'm not surprised by this stuff anymore. It's almost like the Nazis. They talk about the German people being dishonored by them. Guys like him dishonor white people. They do. Like I said, because growing up, the whole thing was to be like a white man. To be a part of his society. And as I always tell my friend Denzel, the European house, the European car, the European wife, with Trump, they're basically showing you that you got no place in that system. You got no place at all. Peace.